Alright guys, second video of the day. If you're following the Oklahoma Henrietta House of Horrors case, then go and check out my other channel, Michelle Walks, because I've just posted a video over there on the latest details of that case. Absolutely appalling, shocking, probably the worst case that I've heard in a good while, and I think there's a lot more to come out in that case. So that's over on Michelle Walks. But in this video, I'm going to talk about the Summer Wells case. Now, Candus was on Miss Daisy's channel, Crime Crazy Critters on the Farm. I always get the order of these words wrong on this channel. And it was pretty interesting. And I was going to do a video talking about Candus's childhood, because she's talked quite a bit about her childhood in this video. Now, we knew some stuff, but we hadn't had it actually from Candus's mouth. And I've done videos before about Candus's background, her first marriage/relationship, her first kids, and her childhood. But now we've got more information from Candus herself. I'm going to redo that video, and I was going to do that today, but I'm going to save that. And so maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after, I'll do that and talk about what Candus said in this video and bring in some psychology. I actually want to talk instead about search dogs, because Cassie cracked me up today. So that's the reason why I'm going to talk about search dogs and how easily dogs make mistakes. So Don said that the search dogs followed Summer scent down the dog trail. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson confirmed that the dogs did indeed follow Summer's scent off the property. Now, whether it was the dog trail, the driveway, or another trail, we don't know. It doesn't really matter. But they lost her scent at the road. So there's been lots of talk about that. I'm going to show you a little demo. Real world. You know, I didn't set this up. So let's get into it. Alright, so I'll just play you a few seconds of what Candus said on Miss Daisy's channel regarding Summer, her wishing that she could turn back time.
I wish we could turn back time.
Me too. I always, at night, like right now, usually, I'll be like, what if I've done this? What if I've done that? What if, you know, I do this what if thing in my head all the time.
I know. Well, did you see that thing where that woman had been kidnapped? And
yeah, I watched that.
Wasn't that something? And she finally got to go to Disneyland with her dad after 50 years of being gone.
Wow, that was so amazing.
Can you imagine? I think you'd pass out if Summer was to come home, wouldn't you?
Man, I don't know about passing out, but we're going to go everywhere we can go.
Oh, I know.
So she went on to say that she believes that Summer is alive, someone's taken her, but she hopes they're not hurting her. And when she talks like this, when she's sensible, not behaving badly, I do feel for her. I do. But yeah, I guess I'll get some heat in the comments for saying that. But yeah, it was true that woman who was abducted when she was, I think she was 2. I can't even remember where this was from, but I do remember the story. And it was like 50 years later, she was reunited with her birth parents, and she was been living in the same town all that time. She'd been abducted by somebody who wanted a kid. And I know people have talked about that in relation to Summer and have implicated Robin and the church. And it's so very unlikely that these things happen. Just occasionally they do. And I hope and pray that that is Summer, and that she's alive and she's well and she will come home. It's just not very likely, but you've got to live in hope, don't you? You've got to live in hope. But the fact remains that Summer has been gone now for nearly 2 years, and the search dogs, the live scent tracking dog, tracked Summer's scent down a trail onto the road. And Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said that it's not uncommon, and it's true, it's right what he said. He told this to Brian Entin. When the surface that the dog's tracking on changes, so it goes from a natural surface like grass, mud, to a artificial surface like a concrete road or tarmac or whatever, that scent dissipates very quickly. And the dog, with his or her nose down, that scent, instead of getting stronger, gets weaker, and the dog loses that scent. The dog doesn't understand why that scent's just got weaker. Does that mean that Summer walked off down Ben Hill Road and the search dog just didn't understand that that's what she'd done? Or, as Don and others believe, she was bungled into a car? I've never really thought, honestly, that she was bungled into a car because, well, if she was, why did the old seeing eye of Geordie Sue, who was apparently out on the bank and listening and hyper-vigilant, how come she didn't see or hear anything? And as Geordie Sue said recently, how come none of the neighbourhood dogs barked if there was a strange vehicle out there? If Summer was taken, I think she was taken on foot. But search dogs make mistakes. It might not be that Summer went down that trail and then wandered off down Ben Hill Road or was walked off down Ben Hill Road at all. Because sometimes even the most experienced search dogs get confused. It could be that Summer's scent was just strong down that trail because she went down it often. She may not have even gone down it that day. But because she went down that trail often, it was like planting and replanting scent. So it could be that she ran up and down that trail or ran up and down that driveway, and that's why it was the strongest scent to the dog. It could be that she ran down that trail that day and then ran back up again, and the dog would not be able to discern between a trail that a person's doubled back on themselves. Look, this is like worlds colliding, me showing footage from the Nicola Bully case from last week when I was in St Michael's on Wyre. And this was an experiment I did with Cassie, and I doubled back on myself and she got completely confused. Now, she would have worked it out eventually. If I'd given her the time, she would have worked it out. And she was panicking. And she's not a professionally trained search dog, but she does have a nose, right? And she does track. I've trained her to track objects based on a command that I give her, but she's never tracked me before, and she got confused. But check this out. This was this morning. I was walking around my local cemetery because I like it, because it's peaceful. And no, don't come at me in the comments about walking on the graves or letting my dogs walk on the graves. You have to walk on the graves, right? If you wanted to go and visit, let's say, a grave in the middle here, how would you get to it? What are you going to do, levitate to get to it? You have to walk on the graves. In the old days, there used to be little paths, little tiny paths, but they got that bad that they took them all up and grassed it all. And there was a man mowing the grass while I was there. He was just off the shot right here. So he was walking on the graves with his lawnmower. So don't come at me, as a lot of you do, when you say, oh, you're disrespectful, walking on the graves, letting your dogs walk on the graves. You have to. Humans or dogs can't fly. All right, so I was just walking along minding my own business. I wasn't filming. And Cassie started tracking. She really started, she had her nose down, she was really tracking. And then I noticed this little gaggle of ducks, and that's what she was tracking. Now, I'm going to play you what happened next.
Cassie.
Right, she sighted them. So she'd been tracking them. She'd been tracking a scent. Then she sighted them. There they are, there. And obviously she's on a lead. She's pulling me. And that's why the camera's really shaking. She's pulling me along. She's trying to desperately get to them. She's sighted them, and what she wants to do now is run to them. But I didn't let her, and that just threw her. Watch what happens. So they continue to walk this way. They're walking down a path. So I think they just took a track around the graves. I don't know why they were there. And they walk out. They walk out. But check what Cassie does next.
Cassie. Oh my God. You're gonna kill yourself.
So there they are. They're just walking off, minding their own business. And Cassie's lost sight of them, and she's lost her scent. So she's confused. Watch her. So she's got her nose up in the air now. She's lost the scent on the ground because they didn't come this way. Because once she'd sighted him, she stopped sniffing. She just wanted to get to him, to massacre him. And obviously I didn't let her. So she just stood there. And she didn't realise where they'd gone. And because she didn't realise where they'd gone, she now starts sniffing in the air to try to locate a scent. She can obviously smell them, but she doesn't know where they are. And it's only when we get right back to the place where they walk that she puts her nose down again, which you can't see because I'm like walking ridiculously. See, she's picked up the trail again now. That's where they were walking. They must have been walking there recently. Right, she's back with her nose to the ground now. Look, Springer Spaniels are bird dogs, but dogs perceive the world very different to us. And dogs live absolutely in the moment. They don't think, what if? They don't think, well, what if Summer double back on herself? Or what if Summer plays down this driveway all the time and that's why the scent's strong? The dogs are just thinking in the moment, and it doesn't matter whether they're professionally trained or they've just got an aptitude for it, like a Springer Spaniel is attracted to birds because that's what they're bred for. They perceive the world very differently to us, and it looks dumb. It looks silly to us. You know, I was chuckling because I could see the ducks, but yet Cassie, because she'd lost sight of them and she'd also kind of lost the ground scent, she was confused and she had to kind of start from scratch and try to locate the direction of that scent in the air. And it was only kind of when I walked back round to where the ducks had been that she picked up that scent again. So it looks silly to us, but it's not. It's just that they've just got a very different perception of the world than we do. They've got different skills than us. So, yes, they're a great tool for law enforcement, for search and rescue. They make mistakes. They get things wrong. From a human perspective, from their perspective, probably makes sense to them. But to us, it really doesn't. They're just a tool. They're not infallible. The scent alerts that were off the property, I'm more convinced by them than the example of tracking her down the dog trail or the driveway. Let me know what you think in the comments. And it's goodbye from Miss Tillington and Miss Cassie Springer. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.